Oh, hello there. We're going to talk about Halloween 6. So I'm doing this at lunch. Because at times I was like, well, I need to do this review, and why not at lunch? So I'm in my work lunch at the moment. Because I got an hour. Got this. It's delicious. Anyway, but we're ignoring that. We're here to talk about Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. The film named to be that because the production was so troubled. So from what I've learned online, the producer and the director gave no shits about Halloween. Basically was just like, we don't give a shit at all. But the writer for the film fucking loved Halloween. So that's why it's still redeemable in some parts. So there are two cuts for this. The theatrical cut and the producer's cut. I don't recommend the theatrical cut. I think it has problems. It's almost trying to be more modern-ish. There's a lot of flashing images, which I don't appreciate personally. It's like, crazy horror, and you're like, flashing images. I'm like, okay, great. Wasn't a big fan personally. As just one of the first things I noticed was watching the producer's cut. Was like, oh, this is better here. Again, I say producer's cut. I don't. It's called the producer's cut. It's almost before they I think they released it test, and I think they did some reshoots after the death of Donald Pleasant. I still don't know how to pronounce his name. I do apologize for anyone who is concerned about that, which is sad. And also, apparently, the director didn't really like him. I thought it was boring, I think. Either director or producer. Either way, they did a lot of reshoots. So this follows basically the daughter of Laurie Strode. Well, it follows the daughter from like 5 and 4, who's now grown up, and now has her own kid. And so Michael's trying to track her down, which he does track her down. Spoilers, and ends up killing her. But the baby survives. Also, was it Paul Rudd? Paul Rudd plays Tommy, who was the woman. Tommy is the son, not the son. The shit. My brain is going all over the place. It is the child that they were babysitting in the first film. It's not played by the same actor, obviously, because I would have noticed if it was Paul Rudd in the first film. But yeah, just have a lot of kind of escaping Michael Myers, escape, and eventually get caught. Or at least, yeah, our main character gets, well, not our main character from the last two films gets caught, which honestly was a bit sad. And I did read again, more normal troubles. They wanted someone older, I guess, because they were shooting her a lot more, I assume, and they want to probably go later, because obviously there's rules against people, children actors, even though she's like 17 at this time. And she got like emancipation, which cost a lot of money. And then they were like, we're going to pay you, and we're not going to pay you very much. So, like, literally does not even cover the emancipation she went through. So it's a whole kind of messed up. Honestly, this film is just so fucking cursed. And that's why it's in the fucking title, which is hilarious. Like, literally, the reason, they thought it was cursed, and they just fucking went, yeah, we'll put it in the fucking title. Yeah, it's sad because, it's like the end of the character. It's like, oh, that's annoying. It's a character you really want to, you'd like to see. Even if they do die at the start, it'd still be nice to see the same actor. And apparently they couldn't get Tommy back, from what I read, because he just didn't have an agent, so they couldn't track him down. So they got Paul Rudd instead. So yeah, we basically follow a family. That's this woman has a basically like a teenager or early 20 something who has a bastard child. And basically lives with her parents. Her dad is a dick. Obviously, you cheer for him to die. He does die. Yay. And then the mother dies, unfortunately. Because everyone has to die, basically, except for basically our two main characters, really. And the kid, I guess. The kid, I'm trying to remember if the kid just kind of disappears. Especially in... I feel like the son disappears. I don't know. I think they follow him around. It's fine. I just feel like I was just trying to remember if he like just almost kind of disappears. Yeah, it's a whole kind of conspiracy bullshit, which is honestly ignored in the theatrical cut, and honestly is barely even in the producer's cut. It's just like, what? Like the thorn stuff. It's just terrible. You're just like, oh. You know, it's basically trying to explain how Michael Myers is, you know, similar to how they tried to explain it in Jason Goes to Hell. They tried to kind of explain, you know, Jason Voorhees and that. This one's kind of trying to do the same for Michael Myers, to try and kind of explain what he is, which I appreciate, but they don't do it. It's like, I appreciate the thought. You tried to do it, but you failed. You fail, you lose, sir. No, yeah, so it's just at that point you're like, oh, okay. It's a bit rubbish. Yeah, so I would have liked more of that, personally. They do, the cult tries to sacrifice the baby. But honestly, the cult stuff, I barely followed it. I've watched this film fucking twice. Look, the first cut of it, they basically just all get murdered, just kind of in a room, in like a doctor's room, and then that's about it. You're like, oh, and then the kids are just there. You're like, oh, okay, there they are. So because there's obviously two different cuts, the endings are very different. So the theatrical cut ending is Tommy just ends up beating Michael Myers up with a pipe. You're like, what? What? This unstoppable force? And it's like, it just beat him up with a pipe in some kind of weird sci-fi area. It was strange. I mean, I'm sorry, I've got the movie. I've got the movie open here just so I can run through it again in my head. Yeah, it's honestly forgettable. There's definitely some cool brutal kills in this, which look cool. I think that's very much been kind of missing from some of the Halloween films, especially when you watch a lot of the Friday the 13th stuff. But anyway, I'm getting distracted. Talk about the ending in the producer's cut is basically Tommy uses some occult magic bullshit to trap Michael Myers. Sorry, honestly, some of these villains kind of merge in my head. Through some kind of magic voodoo bullshit. And then eventually Donald Pleasence's character, I've got completely blanking on his character's name now. He ends up finding Michael, but it turns out it's actually the cult leader. Da-da-dan. And Michael's off somewhere. That's not really explained where. He's just off again, and it's kind of a setup for a sequel. Yeah, no, that's not happening. There are further Halloween films, but spoilers, this film ignores everything except for 1 and 2. So ignores 4, 5, and 6. Because 3 is its own thing, so we always ignore 3. Everything ignores 3. The only thing that 3 is canon to is 3 itself. We ignore 3 because everyone's like, "What? Halloween without Michael Myers? That's a dumb idea. Why are you doing that?" Yeah, so it'll be interesting because obviously get our main character back, which is nice. For the second time. She'll be back again for the third time when they reboot it for the fourth time. The series has had so many fucking reboots. The fourth time? Yeah. Fourth. Yeah, because this is the first reboot. Then the remakes. Wait, no. First one. This one. Then the remakes. And then the third reboot. We're ignoring 3. I mean, technically it could be a reboot. In some ways. Except it just didn't go anywhere. But, yeah, I'm counting 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6 as their own thing. I mean, you could count 4 as a reboot. Because it basically went, none of that shit. But it is more of just a sequel, so we'll count it as such. But yeah, like I said, I think the producer's cut's better. Just because it doesn't have a lot of the harsh edits, and it feels like Halloween, is what I'm trying to get at. Like, the reboots one just doesn't feel like Halloween. The theatrical cut, sorry. Just doesn't feel like Halloween. Whereas this one, it feels very much like Halloween. I'm like, okay, this works. This is very Halloween. Yeah, it's kind of a little bit slower, but yeah, I know I complained about that when I was watching the first Halloween, but now I've got into what Halloween is as far as I can see. It just feels like this is more Halloween. This is Halloween. This is Halloween. I was starting to go into some Nightmare Before Christmas. Yeah, it's not bad. The ending is a bit rubbish. Like, I'm going to go purely on the producer's cut. I'm not a big fan of the theatrical cut. Though it does have some cool brutal kills. But yeah, if you're only gonna watch one, I say watch the producer's cut. Even if it is the ending. I mean, but ending is bad in both of them. Let's be honest, they're not good. So yeah, watch that one, I'd say. But yeah. Tune in next time, because we're going to go through this, and nope, there we go, that didn't pull across for, and this, and we'll finish this fancy ass set I've got here, this Italian set, which for some reason doesn't have English subtitles. Bit annoying, but it was that nice fancy set I could see that had all the Halloween films. Yeah, I don't know much about these ones, but I mean, they only did 2, so I guess they did 2 the first time, and then I guess so. Who knows what's going to happen? We'll find out, because I haven't seen them yet, but I will. Yeah, so that's the next 2 horror films we're doing. I think we're gonna stick with Halloween until we're gonna do the Rob Zombie reboots, and then I might take a slight break from Halloween until the new set comes out, unless of course the new by the time I get to this, the new sets come out of the new trilogy. Because I'm just gonna wait until the new trilogies come out. I don't really want to watch 2 films, and since that film is basically out now. I'll just wait until the Blu-ray's out, and then I can do all 3 films at once. So yeah, see you then. I know what I'm gonna do next. No idea. We'll find out then. So for now, I say farewell.